students, we have completed our circulatory system chapter. Now we will start new chapter, that is chapter number 19, excretory products and their elimination. In this chapter we will discuss about the process of excretion, different types of excretion, different structure of excretion, then excretory system of human, its functioning, its disorders, etc. Now we will start with the process of excretion. There are various types of waste materials, nitrogenous wastes accumulate in our body by different type of reaction, and these products are toxic for our body, so that they should be eliminated from each and every organism's body, and that process is known as the excretion. Now, excretory organs are related with or responsible for the removal of excretory product as well as osmoregulation. That means maintaining the ionic balance in the body fluid. So these two things are controlled by the excretory system of the body of any living organism. Now there are different types of excretion depending upon the product which is eliminated out from the body, like ammonotelism, ureotelism, uricotelism. Now in ammonotelism, when the toxic material is excreted in the form of ammonia, then it will be known as ammonotelism, and the organisms which exhibit such type of phenomena will be known as ammonotelic in nature. For example, fishes, aquatic organisms which are living in the water, and they will exhibit such type of excretion. Now ureotelism, for example mammals, wherein fishes etc. exhibit such type of this excretion, because the product, that is nitrogenous product ammonia, will be first converted into urea, and urea is eliminated outside the body, so it will be known as ureotelism, and the organisms will be known as ureotelic in nature. Then uricotelic, here urea. Now here uric acid is the product which will be eliminated outside. That's why it is known as uricotelis, but the organism will be known as uricotelic. For example, birds, reptiles, then some of the insects etc. they exhibit uricotelism type of excretion. Now, because uricotelism, maximum amount of water, uricotelism also extra amount of water is absorbed by the body, because they are not living in the water, and extra amount of water they can't eliminate outside the body, otherwise they will not survive. So these are three types of excretion depending upon the product which should be excreted from the body. Now different excretory structure which are present in different group of organism, like protonephridia, which is also known as flame cells, and platyhelminthes like flatworms etc. exhibit such type of organism. Then nephridia is present in different types of annelids, that is earthworm etc. Then Malpighian tubules are present in the insects. Insects have such organism for organs for the this elimination of this excretory product. Now kidneys are present in the mammals. At the same time, the antenna gland or the green glands are present in the crustaceans. All these excretory organisms have such type of organs. These organs are involved in the process of removal of excretory product as well as osmoregulation, that is maintaining the ionic balance in the body fluid.
We know that excretory system is the system which is involved in the elimination of the nitrogenous waste from the body. It also maintains the proper water balance, then proper concentration of salt as well as regulation of pH in the blood. So all these things are controlled by excretory system. There are different types of organs present in different type of organism for the excretory process. For example, in protozoa, the excretory organelle is in the form of contractile vacuole, and it is aminotelic in nature. for example amoeba, paramecium, etc. In porifera, general body surface is used for that, and the organism is ammonotelic, that means excreting the ammonia, for example cyclone, etc. Then coelentrates, in the general body surface is used for this process. It is also ammonotelic in nature, like hydra. Platyhelminthes has the flame cells, specialized cells known as flame cells, and it is also ammonotelic, for example the flatworms, that tinea, planaria, etc. Then in nematoda, H-shaped excretory organ is present, which is known as renate cells, and it is also ammonotelic, and example is ascaris. Then annelida is having a special structure known as nephridia, and this is also ammonotelic in nature, for example earthworm, that is ferritima. Then in arthropoda, that is including insecta having the special type of cells known as structure known as Malpighian tubules, and it is uricotelic in nature. That means the excretory product is urea in the form of uric acid. Now example is periplanata, housefly, mosquito, etc. In crustaceans, special type of gland, that is green gland, is present, and it is also uricotelic, that means uric acid is excreted. Then in case of class Arachnida, the special structures are there, like in some organism Malpighian tubule or hepatopancreas, nephrocytes. These are the organs which involved in the process of excretion, and this is also uricotelic in nature, for example spider, scorpion, etc. In case of human being, that is mammals, the specialized structure, that is kidney, is there. So in different types of organisms, different type of structure are present for the excretion process, but all are involved in the excretion of nitrogenous waste, as well as maintaining the proper water balance and that salt balance in the body, concentration of salt in the body. So in this way they are involved in these processes, and they are necessary to eliminate, they are involved in elimination of toxic materials, so that that should not be accumulate inside the body. There are different types of excretion depending upon which substance is eliminated or excreted outside the body. So there are mainly three types of excretion, that is ammonotelism, ureotelism, and uricotelism. In ammonotelism, the nitrogenous wastes are ammonia, that means they are excreted outside in the form of ammonia, and the organism which involved in this process are known as ammonotelic in nature. Ureotelism means the organisms are excreting the material in the form of nitrogenous waste in the form of urea, and they are known as ureotelic. In uricotelism, the nitrogenous waste which is excreted outside is in the form of uric acid. Here very less amount of water is excreted outside. Ureotelism also concentrated urea is excreted, but in ammonotelism maximum it is takes place in the organism which are aquatic in nature, fishes, etc. Here, so the big amount of water is required for elimination of ammonia, whereas 1 gram of ammonia, whereas for example it is 500 milliliter of water, whereas for urea about 50 milliliter of water is used for eliminating 1 gram of urea, but in uric acid very less amount of water, that is about 10 milliliter of water is only required for elimination of 1 gram of uric acid. So but the process of this ammonotelism, that means excreted very rapidly, but in ureotelism it is less slower than the ammonotelism, and uricotelism is excreted very slowly, because less amount of water, it takes the process of concentration, and because these organism ammonotelic organism are living in water, so that they can afford that extra amount of water can be excreted. But in ureotelism and uricotelism, these are living outside the water, that means they are terrestrial organism, that is why they can't afford to extra amount of water to throw outside or eliminate outside. Here we can see the examples of these which are involved in the process of ammonotelism, ureotelism, as well as uricotelism. tell is.
Now we will discuss about human excretory system, the parts of human excretory system and the physiology or functioning of these organs. Human excretory system consists of the following organs: a pair of kidney, a pair of ureter, then urinary bladder and urethra. Nephron is the structural functioning unit of kidney and having different parts, that is Bowman's capsule, then the tubule system, and all these will study through the diagram. Now the urine formation or the functioning of nephron occurs in three steps, that is ultrafiltration, reabsorption and secretion, which occurs in different parts of the nephron. The structure of kidney as well as functioning and structure of nephron will discuss through this diagram.
Now we will discuss about human excretory system. Human excretory system is also involved in elimination of the waste like carbon dioxide, water, salt, urea. These wastes passed from the cell into the blood and are carried to the excretory organs. From there it will be expelled out of the body. The main excretory organs are kidney, it involves a pair of kidney, a pair of ureter, urinary bladder and urethra. This kidney having the different parts that we will discuss its anatomy. Beside this excretory organ, that is kidney, liver is also involved in the process of excretion. At the same time, skin is also involved in this process, and lungs, they are also helps in the process of excretion. In this table we can see the summary of excretory products of plants and animals. In case of plants, the excretory products are excess amount of carbon dioxide, then oxygen, calcium oxalate and other materials like tannin, etc., and they are thrown outside simply by diffusion process, and they can be thrown out through the stomata. Sometimes they are also stored in cells and they are beneficial for us. Now in case of animals, the products which are eliminated outside are carbon dioxide, water, excess salt, urea, etc., and for that lungs is involved in elimination of carbon dioxide, kidney is in the kidney as well as lungs and skin for elimination of water. For elimination of excess salt, kidney is involved as well as skin in form of NaCl and other things. Then kidney is involved in the process of elimination of urea. So in this way the excretory products are thrown out of the body by different organs. In this slide we can see different parts of excretory system of human being. Excretory system involves that kidney, this is the liver, lungs and skin. So all of these are the organs which are helping in the process of excretion. Then lungs, because they remove carbon dioxide from the blood. The circulatory system brings waste material to the lungs, kidney and skin for excretion, and the skin is also involved in the excretion of water, urea, different type of salts through the sweat. This is the structure of the functional and structural unit of kidney, that is known as nephron. Kidney has millions of nephrons which involved in the process of excretion. Excretory organs of vertebrates, main organ is kidney, which helps in excretion as well as osmoregulation. These are a pair in number and they are the site for balancing water as well as salt regulation. Kidney is supplied with the blood by two types of vessels, that is renal artery, and the renal vein is involved in draining out of the blood. Urine exits each kidney through a duct and that duct is known as ureter, and both of these here in this figure we can see here. Urine, both ureters drain into a common bladder like structure, sac like structure known as urinary bladder, and which will expelled out through this structure known as urethra. So, these are different organs, parts of excretory system of human being. Now, we will discuss about the structure of excretory system in human. A pair of kidney which is present in the abdominal cavity. Each kidney is about 10 to 12 centimeter in length, then 5 to 7 centimeter in width, as well as 2 to 3 centimeter in thickness. They are this is the structure place that is known as hilum, through which this renal artery, veins and ureter will enter and come out. So, this portion is known as hilum. This kidney, when we will cut the transverse section of this kidney, having two parts, outer region is known as cortex, whereas inner part is known as medulla. This kidney having millions of nephron tubular structure, and that is known as the nephrons, which are the structural functional unit of kidney. This kidney will make here the medullary pyramids, or pyramid like structure are present, known as medullary pyramids, which is also known as column of Bertini. Each kidney has about millions of nephrons, that we can see here the structure of nephron. This is the detailed structure of nephron. The red one, this one is known as renal artery, and this blue colored vessels is renal vein. This is right kidney, this is left kidney. Now, these are the two ureters which are coming out from the kidney, and it will enter into a sac like structure known as urinary bladder, and it will expel the material urine through outside through this structure known as urethra. This is maintaining the system is maintaining the homeostasis by three steps. First is by filtration, then reabsorption, and then secretion. This is the ultrastructure of this nephron, which is a tubular structure. This round shape structure, cup like structure, is known as Bowman's capsule, and this blood capillaries present inside is known as glomerulus, and collectively these two are known as Malpighian corpuscle. The arteriole which is entering is known as afferent artery, and which is coming out is known as efferent artery. Now, this tubule, this which is coming out from this Bowman's capsule, now it will be known as proximal convoluted tubule or PCT. Then it will extend toward this side, and it will present, this is descending limb, and it is coming up, that is ascending limb, and this is known as loop of Henle, which is surrounded by blood capillaries, network of blood capillaries known as vasa recta, and this is the collecting. After that, it will be known as distal convoluted tubule or DCT, and finally it will end into the collecting duct. It will it will join collecting duct. Collecting duct is joining big number of millions of this nephron, and this will involve in elimination of the nitrogenous wastes. Now, functioning of this nephron, it involves in the process of urine formation, and that is involving three steps: filtration, ultrafiltration, reabsorption, and secretion. Now, the impure blood which is coming through this afferent arteriole will come here, that is through glomerulus, it will enter into this cup like structure, that is Bowman's capsule. Here it will be filtered through three layers, and that is why it is known as ultrafiltration. The filtrate will move in this tube like structure. Now, some of the materials, some of the substances which are beneficial for the body may eliminate outside, may filtered here, so that will be reabsorbed in the tubular part, that is PCT, loop of Henle, as well as DCT. That means, for example, the water, salt, nutrients which are thrown out or present in the filtrate will be reabsorbed. At the same time, some of the waste which is present in this vasa recta, the blood capillary, should eliminate outside the body. That will be secreted in the tubule, this tubule, and that phenomena is known as secretion. So, in this way we can see 3 steps, that is ultrafiltration, reabsorption and secretion. All these will result in the formation of urine. Then the next step is the concentration of urine. In this slide we can see the transverse section of kidney. This inner part is known as medulla, whereas the outer portion, peripheral portion, is known as cortex, and these triangular shaped structure, that is, this is the pelvis, and these are the pyramids, which is also known as column of Bertini. The structure of nephron we have already discussed. This is the woman's capsule, then glomerulus, collectively known as Malpighian corpuscle. Now, this tube is known as PCT, this is loop of Henle, and finally this is DCT, this is collecting duct. So, this is the structure we have already discussed about. It involves in the regulation of osmotic and ionic composition of intracellular fluids as well as extracellular fluids. It maintains the homeostasis. It helps in osmoregulation, that means regulation of osmotic pressure of the body, as well as it involves in the excretion of the metabolic waste, excess water, etc.
After discussion of kidney, its function, nephron, urine formation, now we will discuss separately that the tubular part of this nephron, what contribution or what functions are they performing. For example, we will discuss separately. First is PCT, that is proximal convoluted tubule, which is present towards the woman's capsule, near the woman's capsule. This part of tubule involves in reabsorption of about 70 to 80% of electrolyte, and it maintains the ionic balance by absorption of this carbonate ion. It also involved in selective secretion of H plus ion, potassium, ammonia, and in this way it is maintaining the ionic balance of the fluid. Then loop of Henle having 2 limbs, that is ascending limb and descending limb, that we have already discussed through the diagram. Here the descending limb is permeable to water but impermeable to the electrolytes, and the ascending limb is just opposite in nature, that is it is impermeable to water but permeable to electrolytes, and in this way it also involves in the process of minimum reabsorption process. So, all these things are favorable for maintaining the ionic balance of the fluid inside the body. Now, DCT, that is distal convoluted tubule, which is present after the loop of Henle, that is away from the woman's capsule. It is involved in the reabsorption of sodium ion, bicarbonate and water, maximum amount of water, whereas it is involved in selective permeability or secretion of this hydrogen ion, potassium, ammonia, etc. And in this way it is helping in maintaining the ionic balance of the fluid. Now next is the collecting duct. The last portion of this tubule is involved in reabsorption of maximum amount of water to make the urine concentrate. Then it is also involved in secretion of a small amount of potassium ion, then hydrogen ion, and in this way the tubular portion of this nephron helps in maintaining the ionic balance. As we know, humans are terrestrial organisms, so they can't afford that extra amount of water is eliminated from the body, so that urine concentration is required. Now the mechanism of concentration of filtrate occurs due to, because loop of Henle has two limbs as we have already discussed, that is ascending limb and descending limb. In both the limbs the fluid is moving in opposite direction. At the same time this loop of Henle, that ascending and descending limb, is surrounded by the blood capillaries. Those blood capillaries are known as vasa recta. In vasa recta also the fluid is moving in opposite direction, and that is known as counter current mechanism that helps in the process of concentration of urine or this concentration of the filtrate, and that we will discuss now after the diagram, through the diagram. And this micturition is the process or the phenomena to release urine. Urine, when it is stored in the urinary bladder, then the stretch receptors present on the urinary bladder membrane will send signal to CNS, that is central nervous system. That central nervous system will give signal command for contraction of the smooth muscles of these bladder. As a result, the urine is released out of the body due to this contraction and the relaxation of the different parts of this urinary bladder as well as urethra. About 1 to 1.5 liter of urine is eliminated outside the body every day by adult person, in which about 25 to 30 grams of urea is eliminated. When extra amount of glucose is present in urine, then it is known as glycosuria. At the same time, when it is the ketone molecules are present in the urine, then it is known as ketonuria. So these are some type of disorders. Glycosuria is also known as diabetes mellitus. So we will discuss now the diagram of this the mechanism of concentration of filtrate by vasa recta and loop of Henle.
Concentration of urine is required because human is a terrestrial organism and it can't afford to throw extra amount of water. So the ability to produce a concentrated urine is found in mammals. The loop of Henle and vasa recta are playing the important role in this process. The flow of filtrate occurs in the two limbs of loop of Henle in opposite direction, that is, when ascending limb it is going upward, then downward in the descending limb. So in this way opposite direction, at the same, that is known as the counter current. In the case of two limbs of vasa recta also, the blood will move into opposite direction, and due to this it results in the counter current, and it is responsible for the concentration of urine. The primary engine of the counter current mechanism is the active reabsorption of salt without water by the thick ascending limb of the loop of Henle. The counter current flow arrangement of Henle's loop and the vasa recta traps salt and urea within the medulla, and it minimizes the volume of water which entering the medullary interstitium. All these result in the high osmotic concentration of medullary interstitium, and due to that the water reabsorption takes place from the collecting tubule and in presence of ADH hormone. All these will raise the osmotic concentration of the urine and the urine become concentrated.